They're psychological vampires? What? Elitist assholes. I don't get this. What's the elitism? This hurts people like Preach the most. What hurts me? Hang on a minute. The answer is, yes, they are, because now they can say, screw you assholes. How can they say screw you? And just do casual content will be nice. Why is that a screw you? What's the screw you part? I don't get that. Oh, this is that band guy again. Oh, this guy's got to reappear, isn't he? That's how you get them YouTube books. 90%. Oh, the 90% and the 99%. Oh! I don't see a point in rewarding elitists with elitist stuff so they can prove how elitist they are. You got elitist 3 times in 1 sentence? Motherfucker, that's impressive. This is the why these threads blow up. You guys are at war all the time. Like, I don't get why... No, not a single... This is the first 2 replies. Nothing's about the subject of the video. Ladies and gentlemen, a good Sunday to you all. It is 10:20 on a Sunday morning for me. My kids have just gone out for an hour, and I have some time to make some videos. So we're going to take a look at this 31-page thread. I don't intend to do this for every video because it will encourage people to just troll, and I don't think we want to do that more than ordinary. We did release the gear video last week. Why am I busy? First of all, to the regular viewers, is I have a very, very important thing coming up in about 2 weeks that needs super preparation. I've made a lot of people aware of it. I did do a stream announcement. On April 11th, I can reveal all, but I will have to leave the country for a little while in order to get it done, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, we released the gear video as a question to the community. Is the treadmill broken? It was a question for you guys, and I wanted to get some feedback on it. Unfortunately, the feedback most places was kind of just in agreement, especially for those guys playing. On Reddit, nothing. There were guys who were like, yeah, this is my experience. Everything from casual to mythic. Remember, I did stress that the video wasn't about mythic raiders and being special snowflakes, but I've no doubt we're going to encourage that here. And on the general forums, the same. But MMO Champion blew up into a whole big thing that you guys, wonderful stream viewers, made me aware of. I have kind of stopped checking MMO Champion for a while now. Kind of sad. There's a lack of big communication to keep up to date on. I used to check it daily, but not anymore. Anyway, we're going to have a read through this. We're going to have some fun. We're going to kick back and relax and see what's going on here. So, Embryo is the guy who posted it. Don't know who that is. I think he's touching on an important subject with how the reward structure is set up right now. It means that there's really no incentive for anyone to replay the content and progress their character after seeing the content, regardless of what level you play the game. It'll all be completely reset in 3 months anyway. Excellent. Love this. So first of all, this is obviously not just Mythic Raiders. So I got the reason I made the video is that for a long time now, certainly almost immediately after BOD launched, I had a lot of people contacting me which were from every aspect of the game. So in terms of the Mythic Raiders, they tend to contact me directly through, like, comms, because they join our comms and stuff. A lot of the top guilds all intermingle. That's a very normal thing to have happen. They were telling me, like, their biggest concern for the Mythic Raiders, actually, a little insider info, is they were really worried about what would happen with their players after the raid was done. So the guys who expect to kill Jaina in a reasonable amount of time, they're really worried that immediately the game's going to go back to world quests and stuff, right? And that's about it. And certainly they all know 100%, as I know, is that if you can do Mythic Dungeons at whim, right? So you've got other players in your guild who want to do Mythic Dungeons, certainly above level 10, then we know that when the Ashara raid comes out is we can immediately replace everything, and therefore there's a really, really low incentive to farm, say, Mythic BOD and Mythic Crucible of Storms. Now, Crucible of Storms had its loot buffed, so that might be something we want to look at, which is not surprising. But definitely a concern that the players are just like, there's just nothing for us to do here. But we also heard this from the casual player base. The casual player base was saying, my item level has just gone up, and I still haven't had any doors open for me. So what should I do? I now need to work on just... The grind has just shifted somewhere else. And also... from the guys who only want to do heroic, especially because the jump to heroic to mythic is enormous, is that, like, there's nothing for them to do because they'll just get a full set of heroic plus gear in a very short time span when the new raid comes out. And mostly it came into the guise of what games should I play instead, because as maybe a lot of people don't know, I don't really stream World of Warcraft anymore. We have streamed it a little bit this week with the new content, but we don't really play World of Warcraft, and that's because there's not really a reason to, and that's sad, because we're playing an MMO. We want to, it's not Diablo. We need a persistent community. So, let's see. So we got some nice charts here, actually. Very cool. Linear. It is linear. So, for the changes are that, obviously, we have way more sources of gear, which... is fine, because obviously it gives people in the casual world more incentive to do stuff. That quality of that content, I would say, is very low. It's guaranteed success, guaranteed win. It's actually so psychologically normal to have this be a bad thing that even Homer Simpson recognizes it, who's an absolute complete moron in everything that he does. Even he recognizes guaranteed winning is bad for you and boring. And
oh, I win again, don't I? Woohoo.
All that. And obviously with so many sources of gear, there's a lot of duplicate gear. Attaining really good gear is actually very, very hard, but most of the stuff is only slightly worse, and therefore it makes all the loot kind of boring because it has to duplicate across itself. Let's have a look. Normal heroic dungeons are removed. Only Mythic and Mythic Plus remain. Oh, these are suggestions. Normal heroic dungeons are removed. Don't agree with that. They always drop the same item level loot regardless of it being a 1 or a 10. However, at the start of each reset, you get a number of upgrade tokens. Yeah, a lot of people like the token system. Based on your highest completed key, which you can upgrade the gear you got from the previous week to heroic raid quality. For example, 1 to 6 can reward you with 1 token, 7 to 9 2 tokens, 10 plus 3 tokens. I don't like that. I like going out trying to get upgrades. I would actually... There's a very little incentive to do more than 10. More than 1 10 a week. Now, you could say that's the same right now. But in the early days, because of the way the gear system is... I like to do multiple 10s. And sometimes I also like to help out with my friends, and there's still a chance of getting something worthwhile doing that. Low chance. I don't like the idea of stilting content even more, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, there's a 1 and drop done for me. It would be an incentive for people to go from 6 to 7. I kind of feel, though, if the cutoff was like that, is most people would just go for the slow grind and just get the 1 to... they would rather do a 1 and get, a 1 very easily... And then they'd be fine with that, rather than going all the way up to 7 in order to upgrade that even more. I don't think that would work. At a glance, maybe I need more thinking on it. Remove Titan Foraging and instead reduce the amount of loot we get from various sources. Okay, so you want to do both of those things. In order to make things we get feel more meaningful. In a perfect system, you get all the gear you want from your raid difficulty of choice a couple of weeks before the next raid comes out on average. Okay, so... Remove Titan Foraging and instead reduce the amount of loot you get. Titan Foraging is a weird one because a lot of people really hate it. I don't think it is the ultimate evil. I think it's a system of evil. You might remember we talked about Marshmallow Man and having all these different elements that culminate into a big problem. I just think Titan Foraging needs to be within reason. That's all. Titan Foraging needs to be within reason because... It's something Blizzard talked about in Cataclysm is every item feels transitory. So what that means is once you get an item, it's very, very difficult at this point to say, this is the item I'm going to have for a while, because you actually never know when you're going to immediately replace it. And that makes people less incentivized to even care about the items they've got, because they can swap it immediately. Removing Titan Foraging would stop that, because it's like, this is the level of content I'm in. Therefore, this is the item I'm going to have for a while. Reducing the amount of loot. Yes, I think that's a fair shout at the moment. We get just too much loot, which if you're showered in it, then of course it loses meaning. It loses meaning. But another way of looking at it is to make more interesting items that you can actually target. So I'm not talking about legendaries here, which I think is the go-to for many. It's just a case of having things that are cool, interesting items. And they are doing that. In Crucible of Storms, they are doing that. So maybe that's the way they're going. Valor points and honor points are re-added to the game and have a cap that should net you 1 piece of gear per week. Oh, you purchase things with them. Okay. 2 pieces if you cap out both Valor and Honor. Honor vendors should sell upgrade tokens that cost as much as a piece of gear. You could use those to upgrade your gear to heroic raid item levels. I'm going to be honest here, I'm not a big fan of the Valor Point system. I saw that as just an added grind. But I'm okay with it because MMOs in general have a grind. I totally accept that. I'm okay with it as long as they do have a cap. Like, AP should have had a cap. And therefore, we don't have this ridiculous gap that exists now. Which is basically what we call the Mythic Raid tax. Right? It's unfortunately called that, the Mythic Raid tax. Which is that if you have higher level gear, you also are committed to doing a lot more content you don't enjoy and have absolutely no reason to do in your characters. because you can smash that content to pieces. So World Quest, Warfronts, and things like that. However, they do reward a lot of artifact power, Azerite power, whatever. And therefore, there's a tax, an actual tax. It's a very real thing that if you get higher item level Azerite armor, or you know, like this is what happened going into BOD, you know you're going to get high level Azerite armor and you need certain AP. Whereas the guys who are getting normal and heroic, and that's what they expect to get, have to do way less. So you kind of, if you are getting better gear, certainly with the Azerite armor system, you are then taxed to go and do a lot more shit that you really don't want to do. In terms of battle points and stuff, as long as they've got a cap, I'm okay with it. And as long as that cap comes from any source. So if I can cap my Valor through Mythic Plus Dungeons, or raiding, or PvP, or pet battling, or Warfronts, or whatever, I'm fine with it. As long as I can do the content I want to do, and there's still, you know, and I could, that's enough for me. As long as I can do it through the content I want to do, that's fine. I have no issue with that. These things ensure that you have a meaningful and rewarding progression path through gear that isn't instantly validated with a new season starts. The base dungeon gear increases every season. That's your catch-up method to get you into normal raiding. There is no overlapping difficulties, and with Titan Forging gone, there's no reason to start off a new reason by clearing or split running a difficulty that's trivial to you because of upgrades. Normal mode raiders continue progression normal from day one. Heroic raiders continue with heroic and so on. Yeah, I think catch-up needs to go back to being catch-up. Catch-up, the idea of catch-up is good. It doesn't lock people out. There's pros and cons to having a full linear system where you have to get gear from the previous one to go to the next one. Because, let's face facts, if you come back when the Ashara raid comes out, Uldir and BOD, like if you get into BFA at that point, Uldir and BOD are new content to you, as well as everybody else who joined then. There is an argument to be made there. However, I totally get that people want to do the latest and greatest, but I think catching up to normal mode is right. Catching up to like heroic mode, I don't think does many players many favors who haven't learned to play yet. And there's a lot of those guys, because they're just out gearing, as we've seen. They get too high gear for the content they then need to get upgrades from. They're jumping to like Mythic plus 7. They just can't do it. They just can't do it. So I don't think that's fair to those players. I think that's actually quite mean. Okay. There are smarter people than him. You should not listen to any idiot that's on Tube. His name fits his story. Preaching nostalgic bullshit that no one wants except nostalgic players. Lucky not everyone is nostalgic. I don't know what the nostalgia is. But yes, there are smarter people than me. That's fact. Something tells me those are very few and far between on this forum. This is why these threads blow up. You guys are at war all the time. Like, I don't get why... No, not a single... This is the first 2 replies. Nothing's about the subject of the video. Nothing. Nothing at all. Like, there's no way these guys even watch the video. It's just a war straight away. Blizzard should just remove garbage, unnecessary RNG and Titanforge, Warforge bullshit. I tend to lean in that direction at this point. BFA pushed it way too far. The pendulum swings, obviously. And I think this is the culmination of it. Like, there's so much RNG in the game that it's hard to enjoy. And maybe if I had a gambling addiction, I'd enjoy it a lot. But I don't. I go to a casino maybe twice a year. I have fun with my £20. That's the limit I set myself in a casino, and go to a relatively cheap casino. I have fun, but that's because I'm with friends. We're sharing drinks. We're having a night out. RNG on top of RNG, not for me. Okay, you're absolutely correct, which means you have to search for them. They're not out in the open. Oh, the mysterious super clever people. The mysterious super clever people. You got to find them, guys. They're lurking somewhere. We'll find them. Preach other shitters like him simply make a score off unwashed masses with their revelations. And these said masses swallow it all hook, line, and sinker. Oh, this guy got banned. I'm a shitter. Fucking hell, man. I'd hate to see a badder. Jesus. Okay. Are people sharing opinion? So, excuse me. Things like this are really interesting to me because this is like YouTube comments. YouTube comments can be very vitriolic, full of evil and hate. I mean, I've had threats against my family for my opinion on World of Warcraft. I've used many of you know. But sometimes there's a nugget of truth in there and you've got to seek it out. So if I read a YouTube comment, it's like, this is the worst video I've ever fucking seen. This fat piece of shit is a useless cunt. I can't believe how bad the audio was, right? Maybe there's something wrong with the audio and I need to look at that despite the nonsense. This doesn't really help. This is like a personal attack, which I'm fine with, by the way. Attack away. I don't care. Okay. Is that so much different than it was in the past? My alts in the Burning Crusade were literally BT ready gear-wise, just with badge gear. Only achievements kept them out. In Wrath of the Lich King, it got even more extreme with a new currency every tier and the ability to buy raid gear with badges from 5-mans. If I remember, yeah, there's some misremembering going on here. Sure, they were always behind my main that raided all the time, but they could have still entered the raid and held their ground. In Wrath of the Lich King, I pugged raided on something like 4 alts. People have made posts for the longest time now on how much it sucks that they cannot come back mid-expansion and raid with their friends because they can never catch up. Seems Blizzard listens. This feels like half remembered to me. I mean, we recently looked into this in detail. You probably remember the video where I was in Shatrath and we looked at this. BT ready is kind of subjective. Did I raid BT on a very undergeared alt? Yes, but I was on a Warlock that needed Curse of Tongues for a Reliquary of Souls. A Warlock hadn't logged in at the time. It can be done, sure. Like, guilds have been carrying undergeared characters for generations at this point, right? We've done that every single time. Badge gear isn't really going to get you to the point where you can hold your ground. Like, you won't be, like, not on the damage meter or anything like that. But to hold your ground compared to the rest of the guys, no. I'm going to say I'm going to give a big no to that. Unless you're talking about, like, Sunwell badge gear, which is way after BT's current content. So, I mean, if you look at it from that perspective, yeah, the later tier of badges did prepare you for content that was already kind of old at that point. So you could make that argument, I suppose. These posts, like, I cannot come back mid-expansion and raid with my friends. That's not true. Like, that's like a vanilla, maybe half TBC thing. That's not been the case since Wrath of the Lich King. We've had catch-up for the longest time. Yes, you could buy raid gear with badges from 5-mans, but it was considerably more difficult, right? That's the same system we kind of have now. You can get very good gear by doing 1 Mythic plus 10. It's actually the most efficient way to gear, as we saw in the Fresh Character series, is to do 1 high-level Mythic and then just log the fuck out. But it's going to take you a really long time in order to catch up compared to, like, just playing the game. Okay. You do note the item level is already increasing linearly, do you? Yes, it does. The only difference is the offset between each tier and inclination of the slope. Correct. Now, if we're talking about power granted by item level, that's a different story. Now, the target preacher can be interesting to listen to sometimes, italics, but he's always trying to capitalize on anything controversial. And he gets petty, tiring in the long run. Yeah, that's just not true, unfortunately. The evidence is pretty self-evident on the channel. However, let's talk about the actual important point. If we're talking about power granted by level, that's a different story. Yeah, so this is about power inflation, is that the difference between like 20 item level gap is huge right now. Absolutely enormous. We've seen 5k DPS differences, like 30k single target, and somebody 10 item levels or 15 item levels below is like doing 25, 23k. It's a huge difference if you talk about damage per second, that is, right? That is an enormous difference. The power, despite they keep crushing the stat squishes, they just seem to blow up power even more and more. Now, I understand that they want people to feel more powerful as their character gets stronger, but there's no reason that can't take an entire expansion like it used to. It did used to do that. Whereas there's a very slow, gradual power increase. And then you compare sort of an end gear character to a starter character, and there's a vast difference. I don't need a vast difference between all-day normal and all-day heroic. Like, it's too short a time period to have that kind of massive gap, in my opinion. Okay, I'm confused. You say there's no point in playing after seeing content. Well, I'm pretty sure the main argument against Timeforge Warforge is that you are forced to replay content you've done. Also, what's the point in removal? Oh, let's take that first line. Yeah, on the face of it, you can always get upgrades. That's true. You can always get upgrades. However, there is a realistic soft cap you can reach, which is within your difficulty sector, right? That's the problem. So on the face of it, it's like Warforged Titanforge is supposed to incentivize you to replay. Unfortunately, what's actually happened is because they do a complete clean sweep reset of gear and then massively jump the item levels up that's accessible from the same content you were already doing previous to, like, date on Tuesday, so we get our reset on Wednesday. The same content I'm doing on Tuesday, on Wednesday will be a ridiculously large gear jump. So when I log in on Wednesday, I could just do whatever and replace. Even if the problem we're facing is, if you're a heroic raider or whatever, is that if you farm, you clear the content. So let's just look at raiding. Let's just drop the others out. But it's the same thing everywhere else, right? So if you do like Jaina, and you've really no interest in Mythic outside of like the first 3 bosses, which are puggable, right? Is you can go back week after week and chase Titan Forges and things like that. And occasionally you're going to get lucky and you're going to get something really good. And unfortunately, it doesn't really matter, because when that new patch comes out where everything bumps up, is you'll just replace it anyway. And you've already killed the content you want to do. So it doesn't help you. That's the point. It doesn't help you. Getting that 420 after you've beaten Mythic Jaina, or the 425 or whatever, is irrelevant. I can kill Mythic Jaina faster, but I'm still going to replace it. So you have this sort of dichotomy where it's like, I am getting stronger somewhat, crawling up. So the gear scaling kind of goes like this very quickly, a very steep curve, and then it really like immediately levels off and starts like chasing 1 or 2 item levels. That's the thing. Also, what is the point in removing normal and heroic dungeons? That's the first post. Yeah, I don't agree with that either. Heroic should be more difficult, though, I think. Heroics is Pandora's box, or what we call the Cataclysm problem. The Cataclysm problem was that they tried to bump up heroics. Blizzard did not want, it should be noted here, Blizzard did not want heroics to be super easy, but the community said no. So they're kind of stuck now. That's why they just changed the names to Mythic. Like, and everyone was like, oh, okay, it's Mythic. Right? You know what I mean? We could argue that heroic might be redundant to have, but definitely not normal. I agree. Normal you can do while leveling. Heroic's the end game one. I mean, I'm kind of fine with it. I've got used to it. I don't think it's a big deal. And then they created Mythic Dungeons. So the issue with the dungeon difficulties has solved itself, in my opinion. Oh, this is that band guy again. Oh, this guy's got to reappear, isn't he? That's how you get them YouTube books. I often wonder though if these kind of guys are confusing me with someone else. It just needs one of many people with agenda stirring shit up where he can get his agenda. I have an agenda. What's my? I do want to get the game better for as many people as possible. That's my agenda. And stirring shit up is the best way to attract masses he needs. No, there's just a no there. We've had the topic of preach several times before, and it always boils down to the same thing. People raging like babies at his existence. Yeah, true. But not always painting the game with flowers and rainbows. His critical discussions aren't even half his content. Yeah, thank you, Whisker Art. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Not just because it's positive, but the thing with MMO Champion, for sure, is that the threads that appear there are always the ones that have some sort of controversy tied to them. Even though I didn't think this one would have. I'll be genuinely honest. I didn't think it would have. And it was only here. Like, everyone else didn't care. It was only on here. But I think if that's the only thing, like this, maybe this guy, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe this guy only ever sees threads about me on MMO Champion, which are controversial and go into these big sort of long-winded mega threads. That maybe he just assumes I do this all the time, but unfortunately not the case. It all comes down to preference, though. I for sure enjoy the increased amount of gear, but I do understand his point of view. Okay, so finally something, but it's not really clear. I do want the counterpoint pretty desperately. It all comes down to preference. I enjoy the increased amount of gear. Just because you're getting more. That's my question. Is it like just because there's more? Is that it? Just because I'm getting more? Is that as simple as it is? I mean, that's all I can read into that without more, but I would like to expand on that if possible. Yes, the item level inflation was much lower in the past. It's true. You can actually just check this. I'm sure we'll see this repeated somewhere else in the thread, but you can just check it. If you go and check even Legion at the Antorus patch, the inflation and stuff is less. World bosses and all that kind of stuff are just less. They don't bring you up to the standard they do now. I'll prevent the case. Yeah, you don't need to go back that far. You can go back to Legion and check it. It's close because obviously through Legion it was creeping up, but it was less. Good video, preaches right. Thank you, but like some expansion. That's the first bit. Watched it this morning. Typical whining. Okay. That Mythic gear is special. No. No. With slight hints and questions whether casual players are okay with the current gear model. Nothing slight about it. It was pretty obvious. And swear is yes, they are, because they can now say, screw you elitist assholes. Why can they do that? And just do casual content while being nicely rewarded for it. Oh, okay. So you think, okay, yeah, this is the, it's the often retorted argument, and you can't win against it. It's, I find this kind of answer where you put yourself in an unlosable situation. And the answer is, I like it. You can't argue. That's not a debate, right? It would be if you were in a debate class and you answered something like, I like it, or you put something on, it's like, you're trying to take away my fun is generally the big one. I find this fun, you're trying to take away my fun. Now, let's be clear on one thing. I never said we should remove casual content or anything like that. Like, I don't care that casual players who only play a little while have various avenues to get gear from. Fine. I do care that top-end players who are well past the general reward structure for that tier of content still really need to do that, which we do have to do. Like, there's no getting around it. As some people say, I don't do it. Good for you, but if you want to be competitive, you do need to do those things. Because they're all accessible, right? So again, I see it kind of like the Mythic tax, but I also want to point out here is that we're okay with it generally as Mythic Raiders, you are generally okay with the fact that a lot of the game will revolve around the average player, which it should, because that's the vast majority of people. And there are going to be some things that change every expansion, literally every expansion, that are really annoying for you to do as a Mythic Raider, but it's the way the game is, and we also understand why that happens. So grinds and things like that get added in. Okay, we understand it. The tax side of it is that usually we have to do it a little bit more extreme in order to maintain it. And BFA has been the worst, specifically because of Azerite armor and traits and how strong they are, is we've had to do a lot more of the casual content that we have no business being in or doing simply because of this like extra tax on there. But in terms of removing access for the casual players, no. Elitist assholes. I don't get this. What's the elitism? This hurts people like Preach the most. What hurts me? Hang on a minute. The answer is... yes, they are, because now they can say, screw you assholes. How can they say screw you? And just do casual content will be nice. Why is that a screw you? What's the screw you part? I don't get that. It hurts people like Preach. The whole concept of players should aspire to be better got shattered into a million pieces. Yeah, that is true. That part's true. Yeah, we do know this is the case. Is players just give up. Okay, that's fine though. Like, that's fine though. If people don't want some play, not everybody. Like the idea that this is everybody is also grossly over exaggerated. No, it's not, because obviously the thousands upon thousands of people who contact me are people who are trying to get better. But yeah, on the whole, people don't. They just give up. Particularly, although we need some context to this. He's referring to the Ghostcrawler post where they hoped in Cataclysm. Again, the Cataclysm problem. I probably need to do a video on the Cataclysm problem, don't I? Is that they hoped people would try and get better when they made the heroic dungeons more difficult. People didn't. But there's context to that. There's more to it than what you can read in a fucking tweet, right? A tweet is very limited. And that's also that for the last 2 years of Wrath of the Lich King, people have gotten used to logging in and doing a daily heroic with zero issue whatsoever. It was part of their nightly ritual. And then in Kata, that was taken away from them. So people just didn't want to do it. They wanted it back to the old ways. So you've got to bear that in mind. Although looking at recently, I've looked at the ratios of people taking part in harder content as Blizzard have tried to make the game easier, via pruning and stuff. The ratios haven't changed. So there is a lot of truth to it, is that people who have no interest in getting better will never have an interest in getting better. And there's only a certain amount of the population who will learn and get better. But some people do it. But most people don't, actually. They just give the fuck up, which is why I don't push my guides on people. I said this since Kata, actually. I started making guides in Kata, and at the start of if you go back to my very first videos, I broadcast to the group that, hey, I'm recording this for YouTube and making guides and things like that. And I tried to whisper people, it's like, hey, you should try doing this and that. People got very negative, very angry. I stopped doing that within 3 weeks and just put the content out there. And those few people who do want to get better, they'll come and find me because they'll be looking for ways of improving. And that's what worked for me anyway. So yeah, not wrong there. This screw you bit, I don't know what that means though. Can't use your own brain. Why need others to think for them? All right, that's obviously very aggressive, like it's a sheep thing. But honestly, the advantage of having people like myself and Bay and Bell, Taliesin and so on and so forth, going out and doing this stuff is we generally research a lot to back up what we're saying. Because obviously this is useless generally, right? It's not thinking for them. It's you might have a feeling and then we go and try and research it and find out what the truth is. And sometimes I'm proven wrong. It's happened regularly. Is that I'll believe something, go and check it, and it's wrong. But you have to be able to go out and find things out and source things. So you can't do that on a day-to-day basis if you're working all the time. And also, people might share an opinion is another way of looking at this. People might just share the opinion. I agree, right? That's not using your brain. It's okay, that's pretty good. He's demonetized. Thank you, the Scourge. Anyway, he's not wrong. Gaming's fundamentally flawed. Thank you for pointing that out. So I guarantee this will be ignored. The incentive to replay content is because you think the game is fun. Ah, yeah, I was expecting this. If you do not think the activity is enjoyable, it is silly to do it over and over again. Spend your free time doing something else you actually enjoy. Yeah, true, but that's the problem, right? We want a persistent world. This isn't Diablo. We want a persistent MMO world. I want to play with the guys in my guild. I love playing with them. But there's no reason to play this game with them. And that's the issue. We are going playing something else. What you're talking about is you feel like this is, I think you think this is a very positive thing. It's if you're not enjoying yourself, go play something else. Yeah, that is what's happening. That's a bad thing, right? That's a bad thing is what you're saying right now, is people are leaving and going playing something else, which is not good for the game, right? I think we can all agree that encouraging people yeah, just go play something else. Okay. We are doing that. That's not the point. Like, if I look at my Discord right now, most people are playing Apex, and some people playing Division 2. They're all just playing other things. So that's something to bear in mind there. The issue about gearing, mainly from my view, comes from multiple difficulties. Don't get me wrong, I love having multiple difficulties and I can choose the one I like. The issue comes from people redoing the content so much that they burn out on it. I don't think people are really doing that anymore. I can't speak for everybody, though. I am unsure what the solution is, given if you remove one tier of difficulty, it affects a lot of people who enjoy said difficulty. So I will point out here, I'm actually okay with the 4 difficulty choices. The skill gap and time commitment and all these factors that each individual player has means that they can do 1 to 4. The issue is the jumping of scaling. Like, LFR to normal, I see very, very little difference at all. And I find that really odd. Like, and then heroic isn't a big of enough jump from normal. Like, between LFR to heroics, that's 3 out of 4 of the difficulties. The difficulty rise is really shallow. And then Mythic's, like, extraordinarily high. Certainly after about Opulence, in BOD, it, like, extraordinarily jumps up. And the amount of... BOD is kind of a weird example, because if you're a regular Mythic farming guild, so you do it every tier pretty much, then it's just Jaina that's the problem, generally. But the spike in difficulty is unfair. Because not only do you need to maintain that 20-man roster, but the spike in difficulty from Heroic to Mythic, again, certainly after Opulence, is astronomically huge compared to, like, LFR, Normal, and Heroic. Like, those 3 tiers are really too close together, in my opinion. But I understand why they have 4 difficulties. I'm fine with 4 difficulties, is what I should say. I know that I burned out on WoW during trying. So he's talking about repeating content. I'm sorry if I skipped some stuff, but talking about repeating content. I don't think people really do that anymore. But that's my own opinion. People might be doing that. I think that's a personal choice. If you're farming lower level content for Titan Forges, God be with you. I'm not going to do that. I know my guild didn't do heroic after the second week. There was just no point. As we said, we'd replaced all our gear in Mythic Plus and everything else. Like, there was really no reason. Getting some nice Azerite pieces is kind of worth, but other than that, not really. And then we just stick to Mythic. I thought it was Legion of WoD before that. I thought it was Legion of WoD before that. A mop before that. Oh, this is the, like, WoW's always dying thing. Yeah, people are always saying that. I didn't always say that. I've always pointed out problems, but yeah, some people... Mythic is dead because it's hard nowadays to find sweaty, stable raiders on your server, which kind of counts to the lower population. And also the jump. There's multiple factors here, as with everything. Yeah, finding 20 stable raiders, not easy, especially because the difficulties jump so high. And now we mix in the personal loot, the selfishness situation that we've seen recently. There's a lot of reasons people don't make it into Mythic. And they want to. So it's not a case of I think everybody should do Mythic, because I know it gets twisted that way. It's the people who want to raid Mythic, but are totally unprepared for what it's like, which is really unfair. They may have even pugged the first 3 bosses and they're like, I could do Mythic just fine. And then they get in there and they hit a boss like Mechatark or Blockade. And they're like, what the fuck, man? I need to play, like, perfectly here. And then they get to Jaina and it's like, oh my god. Too bad for the people doing normal and heroic only or do not raid. Of course, these people do not matter to you. And people like, preach? What? What the fuck? Okay, sure, whatever. But no. No. Here's that banned guy again. Thinking that WoW is shit is the favourite pastime of your average tardy. I wonder why you got banned. WoW was shit in Legion. It was shit in MoP and it was shit in Wrath of the Lich King. No? Mr. Pandaria started badly, but it turned it around. I'm hoping BFA does the same. I mean, your bloody sig shows how backloaded your opinion is. And I say this as a guy who started this game back in vanilla. I don't know. Muad'Dib? I like the name, by the way. There's Muad'Dib. What's his signature? Oh, you like classic. Oh, okay. I assume this guy does not like classic. The choice is clear indeed. It's BFA because by all rights vanilla was pretty bad and we praise it because alternatives about them are much worse. True. I'm not a big classic guy. Classic might be fun on the side. Vanilla was 10,000 times better than game. Okay, I'm not getting into. It's about vanilla again. In classic, classic again. Fucking vanilla. No one cares, man. Let them play classic. What's your problem? What's the issue? Just because they like it? Stop being angry about that. Who fucking cares? Some people like Peppa Pig's Farm Adventure. Doesn't matter. Let them be. Let them be. It's not your fucking problem, man. They just like a different game than you do. It's okay. It's all right. It's totally fine. Vanilla. Fucking hell. Your progression is a meaningful way and rewarding as you make it yourself. If it sure isn't meaningful, if item level is all you look at. Titan Foraging is not the best of features. Okay, so maybe we've got some expansion on why this is good. I am looking for this stuff. But don't forget that that it's there to literally force all those who clear the new raid in 2 weeks with tricks and tactics. What tricks? I think he thinks that leveling the professions is a trick, maybe. And tactics to get the most loot. Yeah, to get the most loot out of it for main characters. To continue playing and not cry. Of course, if you're upset at something, you're crying, by the way. You can't have a negative opinion without being a crying baby. And how there is no content to play. But what progression are we speaking of? Gear progression? You ruined it yourself by rushing. Did you use the tools in the game? Ruined it. Story progression. That's not true, by the way. I was a bit facetious there, but that's not what happened. Basically, we had, for people who did it, including my guild, which did do all the crafting and stuff, it was literally to trigger the hidden tick box that all your characters have that say you can trade loot. Like, we didn't use the crafting items. I went back, because I got benched, I went back and did use the crafting items because it was a way of gearing my character, just as it was supposed to be. But actually, this wasn't a case of rushing. It was a case of being able to just trade loot as we always could do in the past. So, unfortunately, the facts of this don't really add up. Story progression. You would rush it too. Because of this, it has to be gated. And even then, let's be real, most elitists... Oh, the elitists. Okay. Most elitists don't care. They just want loot to show how much better they are than everyone else. Yeah, this just isn't true. At least not anybody I know. There are definitely people who... Asmon's a good example of this, actually. He raided for loot and doesn't do it anymore because he can't be the best. So there are people who... And there are no doubt other people who feel the same way, who definitely enjoyed doing ridiculously hard content and playing forever just so they could have a higher item level, I guess. But since transmog, I just don't dig this as a thing because nobody knows if you've got good gear without having to go out of their way to check you on like WoW progress or inspect you and stuff like that. And individually check what's happening with you. Since transmog came into the game, I feel this is a very weak discussion that people want to be better than everyone else. I have to tell you, the best players in the game that I know don't pug because they don't want anything to do with it. You'd never meet them. It's a true story. They just don't want to pug in any way. They won't even play the game if they can't do it with only guildies, and you would never bump into them. You would just never occur to them unless you were like in a stream run with somebody who's in the guild or something. Replace Titan Foraging with Valor Points. For what? Instead of... Again, it's crying, right? It's amazing you have a picture of Conan. But everybody's crying. For the lamentation of the Titan Forgers. About the one piece of gear you still don't have is Titan Forge not dropping. You would cry. Everyone's crying, of course. About having to spend all your Valor Points and nothing else to do. Of course you would. While I agree that there are far too many raid and dungeon difficulties now, I don't agree. I don't see a point in rewarding elitists with elitist stuff so they can prove how elitist they are. You got elitist 3 times in one sentence? Motherfucker, that's impressive. So it's elitists with elitist stuff so they can prove how elitist they are. Right. How does that affect everybody else who's having these issues, who don't care about Mythic at all? Because I think we've proven statistically and fundamentally, a lot of people have no interest in Mythic raiding, and they're still having problems. How does this add up to the elitist elitism that's elitely going around in an elite fashion? 90%. Oh, the 90% and the 99%. Oh, I love this. Okay, so there's no data to back this up. I fucking wish there were because it would answer a ton of my questions as a content creator. It would absolutely answer so many of my questions. There is no data to back any of this kind of shit up. But the conviction, the sheer conviction people have on being correct on the numbers of people doing X activity is astonishing. All we really know about is raiding, pretty much, and a little bit of Mythic Dungeons. We have no data to back this up. So I don't know what he's going to say. I'm just saying that anytime you see 90%, 99%, everybody, you know, these ridiculous generalizations, there's no data. I wish there was. I've tried. I've really tried. I promise you. 90% of players won't see the last boss on Mythic in this expansion anyway. Based on what? How do you know that Jaina's not going to be nerfed to the fucking ground? Like, you've no idea what's going to happen. Is it the fact that they could do something 90% of the players would never be able to accomplish and 99% not in the same time enough for them? For what? Oh, again, it's all about Mythic raiding. Like, I don't see this. I don't think this watched the video at all. Like, There's no way you watch this video. Guess not. Bet they all must be driving super expensive sports cars. Fucking kill me. And wear the most expensive clothing. I have, this shirt is a charity t-shirt from Games Done Quick. This is my own wristband that I give away at PreachCon. I do have a pair of Nike trainers on, though. So I guess you could say I'm pretty elitist. They realize to show everybody how superior they are. Oh, wait, they can't because they focus their efforts on being best at a video game. Yeah, they enjoy their hobby. Those sons of bitches. They really like this game, and so they got really good at it. Arseholes. Trying to extend the item level gap that is already there. No, so they won't be mixed up with casuals. Who's inspecting people? What are you talking about? What is this? As much as crying every major patch, we're crying again. My God, I'm running out of water. I'm dehydrated. I know that the awesome gear you collect is obsolete, so it can now be replaced with something better. Mythic Raiders already get exclusive mounts and better looking gear. I mean, that's totally subjective, right? There's lots of, sure, whatever. All day LFR normal sets might as well have been fished up from a dumpster look-wise. I can tell you with 100% certainty, I have no idea what the gear looks like in BOD. I have absolutely no idea. I don't think I've seen anybody in my raids transmog change for like a year. And yet they still need more? What more are we asking for? Maybe a group of slaves to carry around their massive ego. You are a bitter motherfucker, man. Holy shit. I do understand your argument, but it's wrong. Well, there it is. Pot. Kettle. Pot. Kettle. I think it needs some self-reflection. It's easy to bash those at the top, but if all the top player leaves, then what? Yeah, this is kind of something that's been thrown around a lot. It's like, good, let's get rid of mythic raiding and high-end stuff. Let's just chop we called it the head of the snake. We were talking about it pre-BFA. There are a lot of people who seem to think it's totally a good idea to keep removing chunks of the player base from the game. Yikes, dude. I mean, as much you think that's like a got 'em, I guess that's the idea. It's like a got 'em because you have some sort of anger at players who play at the top end for some reason. Maybe they treated you badly at some point, like bullies in a school. Maybe there are some bullies at the top end for sure. Like I don't get why anybody would be okay. I don't want to remove the casual players. Like, what the fuck, man? I don't want to just chop pieces of the game out and just be like, bye. I think you would kill the game pretty fucking fast doing that. And even if you do that, right? Let's say we removed Mythic Raiding. So the Mythic Raiders, like, for them, Heroic's like a waste of time, right? So you chop off that and you let them go. The Heroic Raiders, all that's going to happen is it's just going to happen again, but there's no place for those guys to go. Right? There's no place for those guys to go once they're doing Heroic. Like, I don't get why you would ever think that would be a good idea. I've seen a mass exodus at the high end of raiding like I have in BFA. Yeah, a lot of people have gone. And I guess I'm one of them since I threw in the towel a few weeks ago. True. BFA is great for the casual bad players. Those aren't the same thing, by the way. Casual and bad are not linked. But for high-end, Blizz has basically told us to play other games, so we did. In a way, we're talking about the Mythic Raid tax here. You have to do a lot more now than ever before, more than ever, and it's so tedious. It's so much more tedious. Even the Warlords of Draenor. I said very early in BFA, I would rather play WoD than BFA. And I mean that because while it was dead and empty outside of raiding, for sure, and I hated that, I could still get everything I needed to do the one thing I still enjoyed in my garrison and be done with it. Now I can't, and it sucks. Amount of pet is no longer a proper reward. I do agree. I know some people covet that. Well, we'll talk about that at some point, I'm sure. Thinking that WoW is shit is a favorite pastime of your average tardy. Okay. I don't care if you still like WoW. Yeah, same. I don't care if you love BFA. I would like to be able to answer these questions that people are getting upset about because we're losing players, boys. Simple as that. I'll play every day. I don't like modern WoW. I haven't really enjoyed the game since Kata. None of this is about my video. What the fuck, man? It's just, this is MMO Chat in a nutshell. We're on page 2. It's been, oh my God, it's been an hour. All right, so now you can see at the time, it's 5:15. I've been out with my family all day. I'm ready for more. God, this thing is so enormous. Jesus Christ, I could be doing so many other things. Anyway, let's go on. You'll get to enjoy your gameplay. Oh, this is classic. Classic. It's more classic. Classic. I think it's ridiculous how hung up people are on loot. Loot is not gameplay. It's a means to an end. Wow is a game. If you enjoy arena, raiding, and plus, you should do it regardless of loot. If you don't enjoy these, you shouldn't do them regardless of loot. Yeah, it's kind of like a fantasy rosebud thing, is that if you just enjoy X thing, then you'll do it anyway. A lot of WoW is about the people you play with. And I think this is more of like a single player mindset. Honestly, that's how I feel about this. It feels very much like a lot of the guys who found about the selfishness, that they're only looking after themselves. That seems to fall in line with that idea, which isn't how a lot of people play WoW. They play it because they want to play with a lot of people. The problem is some people care about other people getting. No, that's what you want to be true. You really do. You want that to be true because that means people are being mean and nasty. Oh man, this guy, yeah, it's the same argument we've seen before. That's not the problem. That's not the problem. It really isn't. I think a lot of people want this to be the issue. Like, it's nicer and it's easier to just go, that guy's a bad guy. Whereas nobody, and certainly not me, is trying to take anything away from players. It's trying to make people satisfied and happy, because the more people you make dissatisfied and unhappy, which is what's happening, the less people are going to stay. It's as simple as that. Like, people are dissatisfied because the whole system falls apart as soon as you finish what you want to do, and then you don't need to play the game anymore. And again, it's not a sandbox game. Totally agree with the comment in the video. Fuck instant gratification. Instant gratification can be good, but in limited amounts. Fuck multiple raids. I didn't say that. Fuck catering to the extreme casual end or the extreme hardcore end. Correct. Because I'm on record several times thinking Mythic raiding generally should be easier. I think BOD is fine up until Jaina. So Jaina is far too difficult of a Mythic boss in terms of how much effort Mythic Jaina requires. I don't think that's fair to the player base. Now, I understand that, having said that, that negatively impacts people like myself, like for a world first race and things like that. That's obviously got negatives. I'm okay with that. I've been playing this game for like 13 years. I'm okay with understanding that I am in a very tiny majority of people at an extreme end of the line. I'm fine with it. In terms of accessibility, Mythic should be a little easier, but not too easy, because what's the point then? And I certainly don't want everybody to be a Mythic Raider, because the only way that works is to make Mythic Raiding basically normal mode, which is not what I want. I do want a higher tier of difficulty that has satisfying and enjoyable kills for people who understand how all the elements of the game works. That's what Mythic Raiding should be. If you've mastered your class and mastered your gameplay to a very, very high degree, then there should be content for you to enjoy and gain satisfaction of having acquired all that knowledge. I think that's fine. But, you know, once you start having like 5, 10 wipes, 8 wipes, 9 wipes, hundreds and hundreds of wipes, there's an issue there that's a different one. But you shouldn't cater to the extreme casual either, because nothing you do in the game really affects them. If somebody's playing a game like an MMO for like 3 hours a week, nothing you do is really going to affect them in any way. They'll never see the benefit of it. They've only got barely enough time. If you play like 3 or 5 hours a week, you've barely got time to get your emissary quests and do war fronts. You've barely got time to do that stuff. That's it. That's the limit of the gameplay in that environment. But again, I don't think there's that many people, as most people like to believe, but I have no stats on that. Smart take. Oh, you can't just say you're going to be smart. Just because you're a mod, you can't just say this is the smart. I'm smart. For some, the gear treadmill has been broken for years. True. That's why a lot of us have hopped off and no longer bothered to raid. The treadmill he's discussing is only problem for perhaps 1 in 4, at best 1 in 3 players. I mean, that's 25 or 33% of the player base that you're guessing. That's a lot of people. So what, it doesn't matter? Like 33% don't matter, which is your like worst case, or like 25% of the player base don't matter? And we're okay with that? I don't think that's a smart take. I don't think that's a smart take. I mean, you're guessing at those numbers. One, that's a total guess off the top of your head. But even if that was accurate, 25% of the players being dissatisfied and unhappy is okay of the remaining player base, however many they may be. Or 33%. It's a lot of people. Right? It's a lot of people. Mythic Raider 2019, y'all better recognize. If he, BFA is pretty close to dead from a community and population standpoint compared to Vanilla or Prime. Well, I think that's true. If you go by that outlook, it's even more clear the gameplay comes first. Community is supposedly dead, but the game still kicks and living. We think. We don't know. We don't know. I wish they were demonized because that's all they deserve. And yes, I'm riding in your shit. Oh, so he just still really hates me. I still don't know why. Like, you seem to hate a lot of things. Vanilla hate. I don't know, man. Another band player. Jesus Christ. There's something about smart take. There's nothing about smart take. Yeah, not smart take thing was a bit egotistical. They fucked it essentially back in TOC, so everyone's picking up different days that they think it went skewed up. I wonder if this coincides as a little thought shower, or shower thought, I should say. Or if this coincides with people started to, like, realize how the game works, that then they thought it fucked up. Like, if they realized how the game works, like, patch before, so in this case it'd be Ulduar, Trial of the Crusade come out, they were like, okay. I started to see what Blizzard does here from a more mechanical perspective. I wonder if there's some something side by side there. But that's, I don't know. Okay. I tried, guys. I've given this 3 hours. Right? Let's go to the last page. I've tried. It's 33 pages long. Is there anybody here? Is there anything you do the entire time you play the game of Focal Points? I'm done. I'm fucking done, man. I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. It's too much. And nothing. It's the same guys who are still going. Like, I tried. Maybe somewhere in there, there's something that's a benefit of this system. I tried for like 11 pages. I've read everything. There's nothing here. It's all just like vanilla, the game is bad, Titan Forging, and shit that I never said. And personal insults. Like, what is this? This is not how you get anything done anywhere. This is like a bad Friday meeting at work. Okay. I'm drawing it a day. Thank you for watching. I wish I could do the whole thing, but I can't. Bye. I'm so fucking done. Bye-bye.